My name's Michael Hadges and I'm the Technical Director at Monitor Audio, and I lead the R&D team in Reilly near London in the UK. For the new Bronze series, we want to deliver the biggest step forwards in performance since the first Bronze series 22 years ago. The Bronze series is now in its 6th generation. The first Bronze series was released in 1998. The largest difference between the previous Bronze series and the new Bronze series is the change in sizes, taking what was a Bronze 2 with a 6.5-inch bass driver to the new Bronze 100 with an 8-inch bass driver. The size and formats now match the Silver series, which has taken those sizes for a few generations now. There are also changes on the tweeter, which has got the new uniform dispersion waveguide on it, as well as a grille which matches the aesthetic in with the Silver and the Gold ranges. Of other notable changes to the port, which has moved from the front of the product, where it's been for 5 generations, to the back of the product, allowing a clean aesthetic across the front of the product. The new painted baffles also give an uplift to the design, and it's available in 4 new finishes. The range now consists of 8 speakers. There are 2 stand mount speakers, the 50 and the 100, 2 floor standing speakers, the 200 and the 500, a centre channel, the C150, an FX speaker, the Bronze FX, the Bronze AMS, which is a Dolby certified upward firing speaker, and also a subwoofer. The Bronze series continues our use of C-cam technology for the cones, both in the tweeter and the mid-bass driver and the bass drivers. For the tweeter, we've introduced the uniform waveguide technology, and we've also introduced DownConcentric Mode technology into the mid-bass driver. The cabinets now consist of a 21mm MDF front baffle and a 15mm cabinet with 2 internal braces. The drivers are also mounted using our single bolt-through driver technology. This mounts the drive unit not only to the front baffle but also to the rear of the product and adds additional bracing. The technology completely removes any resonance in the chassis of the drive unit and creates a much stronger cabinet through this bracing technology. For the crossovers, we use third-order high-pass filters with polyester capacitors and air core inductors. For the mid-bass drivers and the bass drivers, we use second-order low-pass filters with laminated steel core inductors and bipolar electrolytic capacitors. The range increases the minimum impedance compared to the previous generation, making the product easier to drive and compatible with a wider range of loudspeakers. We've included dual binding posts on the rear for bi-wiring, and we've also included the high-vi technology for the ports, moving to much larger diameters and increasing the power handling of the product. For 5 generations, the ports have been on the front of the product. We've now taken the bold move to move them to the back. This not only cleans up the aesthetic on the front of the product, but enables us to increase the performance of the port by making it larger. Through research at the beginning of the project, we determined that it wasn't the position of the port being on the front or back that had a big effect on how well the speaker worked close to a wall, but how you chose to tune it and engineer that port design. The new Bronze series also introduced updated magnetic grills and a new outrigger feet design that's not been seen on Bronze before. Among other improvements we've made between the 5th generation Bronze and the 6th generation Bronze is a vast change to the 8-inch bass driver. The old 6.5-inch driver in the 5th generation used a 25mm voice coil, while the new 8-inch driver uses a 38mm voice coil. This handles much more power and has a much better linear stroke to it as well. This brings a big improvement in both power handling and max SPL compared to the previous driver. Couple this with the larger port tubes and the whole system can go louder for longer. Bronze 6th generation introduces 2 new technologies, uniform dispersion waveguide and DownConcentric Mode technology. Both of these technologies were designed together as a system. Here at Monitor Audio, we design the whole system of the speaker in one go. We do not design just a single tweeter and a mid-bass and then expect them to work in a box. So the targets for both these technologies were complementary to each other. The uniform dispersion waveguide technology has a number of elements to it. One is it boosts the sensitivity at the low end of the tweeter, and the second is that it increases the dispersion at the high frequencies of the tweeter, helping to create a wider sweet spot within the room. The low end of the tweeter has been improved through dropping the fundamental resonance of the driver to below 800 Hz, and also with a waveguide technology enabling a semi-horn loading at the low end, which gives it another 4 dB of sensitivity at 4 kHz. Combined, this enables us in the Bronze 100 to drop the crossover frequency to 2.2 kHz. For when we're crossing over to an 8-inch driver, the driver tends to start to beam, so the earlier you can cross over to it, the more consistent the frequency response is going to be. This also gave us opportunities to select the exact crossover frequency we were looking for in the design, rather than be beholden to a point where the design wants to be, or a sort of fixed crossover frequency where we're not happy. So this flexibility enabled us to try crossovers from 2 kHz to 4 kHz and select the very best sounding tonality to the product. The mid-bass drivers have a new technology called DownConcentric Mode technology. The aim of this was to control the breakup for a more tonally pure sound. DownConcentric Mode technology was the outcome of a large research project that went on for around 6 months and consisted of more than 50 simulations and 5 prototype drive units to find the right balance of features and geometry to give us the performance we were looking for. In the end, the right balance of geometry gave us a reduction in breakup energy of 2/3 and allowed us to integrate with the tweeter in a very clean and pure way, giving the whole speaker a neutral tonal balance. Since 2007, Monitor Audio has been investing in simulation tools. Initially, this was just to design a drive unit and simulate it to create a virtual prototype, but now we can do a complete loudspeaker in a virtual prototyping series. This enables us to look at all of the issues within a loudspeaker before we've even got a prototype. So we will have simulations for a tweeter, a mid-bass driver, both of those in a cabinet with a crossover, and we'll look at how that crossover interacts with both the tweeter and the mid-bass driver. We'll then re-engineer the tweeter and the mid-bass driver many times to give us the crossover performance we're looking for, but not only just what we're looking for, flexibility, so that in those listening sessions when we get the first units back, we have a wide capability of crossover solutions so we can find the exact tonal balance that we're looking for that would make it a true Monitor Audio loudspeaker. It's only through this build-up of simulation techniques, prototyping, and listening to the final physical product that we can really hone into what makes a Monitor Audio speaker special. So in summary, the 6th generation Bronze brings some of the biggest changes in 22 years to the Bronze series. It brings a new aesthetic design along with 2 great new technologies that work together to deliver the sound quality you'd expect from a Monitor Audio product. Thank you for listening and have a great show.